Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Black Male Podcast. I am your host, AP, and today's show is going to be about affirmations. Affirmations is something that is very important to us. Affirmations is also something that's very important to our lives. When we look at the word affirmations and what it means to us, we really don't look into why they are important to us, right? So what we do is we look at the idea and we have the idea of an affirmation and what it tends to be. And when we learn what this word means and how powerful it is for us, then it helps us when we are going through our daily lives. We use affirmations to help us think about some things that we're doing. It helps motivate us. Sometimes these affirmations can be very negative, and those negative affirmations, quote unquote, will be called negative self-talk. Most times when we have negative self-talk and we have someone who's exhibiting those things, sometimes that comes out and it plagues us and it hurts us in a way that is very difficult for us to move forward from. Right. So we're going to talk about affirmations today. First of all, I want to thank you all for watching the show live. If you're not watching the show live, I want to thank you for watching on the upload on YouTube. I really appreciate everybody. You get out there and like, share, subscribe. Also, you can leave a comment. There's nothing wrong with leaving a comment, good or bad. It doesn't matter. Just leave a comment. Let's go forward. Let's move forward. Let's get this word out. Let's see what's going on. Okay. So, as I adjust my brim, we're going to talk about affirmations. Okay. Now, if this is your first time watching the show, what I'd like to do is I'd like to define what the term is or the topic is, and then I'd like to go from there. Okay. So let's talk about affirmations, right? So, affirmation, as a definition, is the action or process of affirming something or being affirmed. Okay. The second one is emotional support or encouragement. Okay. So we tend to think about the second part, right? The emotional support or encouragement. All right. Affirmations are positive statements you repeat to yourself to shift your mindset and promote a more positive outlook, helping you feel better about yourself and your life. I'm gonna say that again. Affirmations are positive statements you repeat to yourself to shift your mindset and promote a more positive outlook, helping you feel better about yourself and your life. Man, these things are something that really help us in our daily lives. You think about these affirmations, okay? Let's talk about that for a little bit. So, what will be considered an affirmation for me? What will be something that I can think about that I go through or that I hear is an affirmation for me, right? Sometimes it can be you can do it. Sometimes it can be you're worthy. Sometimes it could be like you're the right person. You have all the skills. Things going to work out for you. Sometimes you can think about it in some aspects where someone will say, "Hey, if you pray, it'll work." All these things are affirmations, something that's going to build and give life to what you're doing. Also, what it really mostly do is something of words of encouragement, right? If you want to think about when you were a kid and you were told the story of the little engine that could, and he got down on himself, didn't want to do anything, but as soon as someone gave him those words and said, if only you were to say these words or believe these words of I think I can, then you can do it. All the while not thinking he can do it, but he just had one person to push and say that you can do it. And as soon as he started believing in those words and started believing in that idea, did he start doing it, right? Because sometimes we can get to a part of our lives where it is something that we don't know whether we should go left, right, or move forward from. And what we need is we just need a little push. Sometimes we have people that are great pushers in our lives, and they push us in a positive way because they know that we want to get something, a desired outcome, right? Those people are gems in our life. Those people are gold. Those people are diamond. Those people are there to be there because they are serving a great purpose to help us, right? And that can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can be anyone. Now, I want you to think about those people and why they're pushing you. Are they looking for a are they looking for something from you, or are they just telling you that because they know that you're worthy of certain things and they know that you're capable also of certain things. So it's very important when we get to that point to know and understand about those affirmations and why those affirmations are important. If we don't really understand or think about those affirmations and put them in the context of why they're important, we're going to lose sight of why they're actually important. But those things are something that's going to help us. It's going to help us develop. It's also going to help create a stronger mind, a more positive outlook. But it's also training us to be more disciplined in what we're doing. Right? Okay. Now, let's move forward with what will be an affirmation from me. Okay. If you look towards your daily life, right, and you look at something that you've done, right, all affirmations serve a purpose, right? Those affirmations are something to they aim to replace a negative thought or a negative idea or help you move through something. Okay. If I know that I definitely do not, if I know I cannot take a test correctly, right? If I have text anxiety, or if I know that I have this big project that I'm worried about, and I know that I need some help, I know I need some assistance with, and I know I've studied, I've done things, and I know I'm just worried, I'm worried. Sometimes it just takes that one person that have belief in you to know that you can do it. And sometimes it just takes that. Doesn't matter how many no's you get, you just need that one yes. And that one yes can carry you through great things, right? So I have some things I'm going to play today on the show. It's going to talk about someone building and giving life into people. What it's also going to be is also going to do it's going to be something that's going to help people see that affirmations can just be anything. It can come from anybody, right? An affirmation can also be that a child telling a parent or a child telling someone that, hey, thank you. Thank you for doing what you did for me. And you look good. You're the best person for this situation, right? Something that's going to give me encouragement, something that's going to help push me forward is always something that we desire to have. And it depends on who that person that's giving it to us is how much we will feed in and buy into that. Nothing wrong with listening to that, but also we have to know the message and where it's coming from and who it's coming from and why it's intended, right? Everything that we do has a purpose. Everything that someone does has a purpose. Some people have motives for the things that they do. Some people have bad intentions for the things that they do. But it's very important for us as people to decipher through that and know and understand that if we want to get to that desired result, we want to get to a higher plane, if we want to have ultimate level of peace and clarity, and sometimes if we want to get to a place to where we can do things for others because we have longed for this, then sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes we have so many distractions in our lives and it's very hard for us to even think straight sometimes it's hard for us to even move forward and think that we can do something, but it's right there. Sometimes we can't think about the next step because we're so focused on something that we're looking at and it's a difficult task like a math problem or a science project or a difficult relationship situation, and it just plagues us and keeps us down. But once we know and we understand that it's not that moment is not going to define me. What's going to define me is how I get through it and what steps it took for me to get there. That's very important. That's going to be something that's going to help me, right? I need to know that. I need to know that that's going to help me. But why I need to know that that's going to help me is what is it going to do and what is it building inside of me, right? Every lesson that you learn is going to be something that's going to make you or break you. That's life, right? Some of those lessons are going to be mistakes that you've learned from. Some of them you're going to continue to make those mistakes, or some of them they're going to be a mountain of memories, right? Some part of maturation or understanding that I have got some experience now is knowing that the things that I used to do and the way that I used to be and the things that I used to say, I no longer have to do that, because the reason I no longer have to do that is because now I'm in a place and in a space where now I've built in to something that I'm doing, right? I'm invested in myself. We're all going to invest in ourselves about something or revolving around a particular topic, a subject, or something that we want. Now, what is it going to take for us to get there? Is it just action, or is it words, or what is it? Most time, actions without anything is it, right? But sometimes it's the words that people choose to either make or break us. Now, something when I we're gonna go back and talk about when people are saying things to you to make or break you. Now, you know in your life who's there for you, right? You also know who's not there for you. You know who has bad intentions. You know who means you well. You know who's someone that's in your corner. You also know somebody that you can rely on. Now, sometimes those people that we rely on, and sometimes most times it's like somebody like a friend or a family member that can either build you up or tear you down. And sometimes when they tear you down, they just want you there because they can't see anything past of what you are, right? Jay-Z said this one time in an interview. He said, "Do not tell me that I can't do something because you didn't do it." I mean, when you think about that, that's very powerful, right? Because you think about it in this context. Most people that we know or people that we've come across, they will tell us that we haven't done anything or we're not capable of doing something because that mountain was too high for them to climb, right? So if that mountain is too high for them to climb, it's going to be difficult for them. So I'm going to tell you something about me, right? I can say that I have lived my dream, right? I can say that I have done things in my life that's very hard for some people to do, but I was able to do that. And then when I was done doing that, I let it go because I've reached the pinnacle of some things. I know that I got there, but there was a lot of doubt, not just from myself, there was doubt from other people, there was doubt from a whole bunch of things, right? But once you're there, the air is a little different. The air you breathe is going to be different. Why? Because you have a sense of accomplishment. That sense of accomplishment is going to make and break, is going to make you, and is going to build you to do things greater and stronger, right? Every experience that you go through, that you learn from, is only going to shape you for the next challenge you're going to face in your life. And then sometimes we can have some people that are around us that don't want us to go through something because they were not able to do that themselves, right? So, what happens if you dispel that and you don't listen to that and then you move forward from that? How strong and powerful mentally would you be? See, when we do things and we're very strong in our minds, because if I think something, I'm going to believe it. When I believe it, it's going to turn to action. And when that action is going to carry me through to something, right? Because once I believe I can do something, you can't stop me because I've already shown that I can do it. And the doubt is in other people. The doubt isn't in me because what I instill in me is the belief and the courage to do what I need to do. Now, if I fail to do that, I fail myself. And I don't think people understand failing yourself is worse than failing other people. Why? Because you have to live with that letdown. You have to live with that rejection. You have to live with that self, that unfulfilled self prophecy that you can do something, right? Sometimes the people that are around us, they're there just to either build us up or they're there to tear us down. Now, that's where the memory and the mistake come out. You can think about it in this context. Some of the friends that you have, they're only around you because of what you can do or what you can provide for them. Some of the people that you have around, some of the people that you contact, even some of the family members you have, they're only around you because of what you have or what you can probably provide or the position that you have. The part about that is where you come into play is that how are you going to decipher from the two? How are you going to put the folks that are around you in a certain bucket that's going to fit your life? Everybody has a life to live and you only get one chance to live it, but the opportunities that are going to be afforded to you are either going to come from the works that you put out or from someone giving you a chance. Now, if you don't know and understand that, what's going to happen is the lesson that you're learning from that, you're going to miss it the next time something happens because we're constantly going to go through things and we're constantly going to be moving forward to trying to have a better understanding about life. And when you get to a certain point, at that time, things slow down for you, right? I know I mentioned this in one of my previous shows, but I'm going to say it again because it was a great example, right? So the difference between a man and a boy is that a boy is living life, right? A man has experienced it, right? So if I take that context and I apply that personally to myself, I can go back and say that there's a lot of mistakes that I made earlier in my life that, I'm glad that I made them at the time that I made them. Because had I not made them at that time, where would I have been had I not made that, right? And then when I was in that moment, who was there around me to either help motivate me to like shake some things around, or what was the conversations that they had mentally, and how did I feel emotionally embracing the words that they say? There's an old adage and an old term that's out there that says sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. And that's false. That's just giving us a false sense of belief and deception that the words that people use do not affect us. They do. And sometimes coming from the people that are closest to us, it hurts the worst, right? Because that will peak in and that will seek in a lot of negative self-doubt. I know someone right now, and anytime that we are talking, the first thing she'll say is she say, "I need to stop doing to myself," and I'm saying, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, I need to stop talking down on myself." And I said, "Yeah, you really should." I said, "Because you're a very accomplished person, and the only thing that somebody hasn't told you was what I just told you. Now, if you know that you're an accomplished person and you see where you are, you will know where you need to be." Now, some of us don't know that, and some of us are not prepared to give that to someone because we're looking at other people and maybe we're looking at where they are right now. See, we all weren't at a good point at one point in time in our life. Some of us who are lived a certain part of life and we are at a certain age limit or age bracket, and by the time you get to that age bracket, you should have already outgrown a lot of things that you're still going through. But some people are not capable of doing that, right? Because mentally, they have a hard time knowing and accepting any affirmation that someone has given to them. Another affirmation that people fail to accept to do are compliments. I'm going to tell you personally, I don't do well with compliments. I'm going to tell you why. The way I grew up, receiving a compliment either meant that something's going on, you want something from me, or you consider me as weak. I got some in my beard. Okay, that means that you consider me as something weak, and then you can try to take advantage of me, and that is a poor and negative way to think and to act to behave. Because why would someone with good intentions waste their time to tell me something like that and I accept it as something being negative? So that's something I had to learn throughout my life, to learn to accept a compliment. You do good, you're doing good. Because a lot of times when I was younger, it would be something where you can praise me to my face and stab me in my back. And that'll tell me a lot I need to know about you because it happened a lot to me. So if I can give you that to you, I know that someone somewhere down the line is probably doing the same thing to you, right? But what we need to do is learn and grow from that, because once we see how people or people's true intentions are, we are better for that, because now I know how to navigate around you. Because anything that you're telling me, you're not spewing life. You are giving me false hope and a lot of degradation to what I need to do. So the purpose of people telling you that you can do something or that you can't do something is always rooted in something that's in them. And sometimes having very toxic people around us that we don't realize are toxic until we're not with them anymore or dealing with them anymore can either make or break us or set us up for something greater down the road. And that's part of what I want to get through to you guys today. The things that people do and the things that people say and the way that they act and how they go about doing their things always affect us, because it depends on who it is and how much it hurts us or helps us get through what we're getting through. Okay. Let's have another example, because I love examples. Okay. If you decide that you want to have a certain level of education, right? and it's very hard for you to grasp a certain subject. And you may have dropped that class a time or two, or you may have gone through, every class and doing this and doing that, and it's very hard for you, right? What happens when you finally get to a place when you say, you know what, forget this. I gotta have this because now I know what it's gonna be. I'm getting ready to graduate. I have this, I gotta take this class. What happens when you change your mindset with that? You know and understand how powerful your mind is. And when you make up your mind and you put yourself in a situation where you can benefit greatly with you doing something that you never thought you can do. I just said a little bit earlier, that's going to build on something that you're laying a foundation for. Once I have a solemn confidence in myself, I can't be stopped in anything. Have you ever seen someone that have a supreme confidence in themselves? A lot of people will say that as like narcissists or they're full of themselves, and that's not it. You just don't know the struggle that they've had to get to where they are. And once you realize the struggle that they have, because a lot of people are not going to tell us that because that is something that they're going to keep to themselves for self-preservation. But if you realize their story and see how hard it was for them to proceed through the things that they had to proceed through, then you have a better understanding of why they are so relieved and happy that they are where they are. Now you get to that test and you get to that level of education, you do everything you need to do. And once you have it, man, it's like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. It's also something to where you can feel like you can do anything that you need to do that benefits you in a great way. And nothing's going to stop me, right? Nothing will stop me from doing something the other way because I know what I'm here to do and I know why I'm here to do it. So that's where we want to get to, right? I want to play you guys an example, right? I'm going to load it up here. I want to play you guys an example. And what this is a wife giving her husband life with what she's saying, right? She's pouring into him. And I want you to hear this. And the reason why I want you to hear this is because it's very powerful, the words she chose to use. Right? So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this for you. Okay. I'm gonna play this for you. 1 second. I apologize. It should have already been queued up. Okay.
We're thriving because of you. Like, I'm able to get a new phone because of you. I'm able to go get my eyes tested and get new glasses tomorrow because of you. I'm able to have somebody come in here and clean because of you. Mm-hmm. I'm able to make a meal for not just our family, but Crystal and Brad because of you. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not just keeping us afloat, you're driving us. Mm. And I appreciate you so much. Like, the way you lavish your love on us is insane. Like, you take such good care of us. You are such an incredible provider. And I don't just mean financially. Like, you're an incredible provider for our family. Like, I had expectations of what you were going to be like, and you have far surpassed them. Like, I am overwhelmed with what a great provider you are for our family. I am so blessed, and I'm so grateful that you're my husband. I just want you to know that.
And she ends that by going over and they embrace. They have a long embrace after that. Man, the first time that I saw that, I said, what did that do for that man? That did everything for him. Because a lot of times when we are with somebody, we don't know and understand all the complexities or maybe some of the things that they go through in a daily life, and especially when it comes to a man, right? Sometimes when women have a man and they seek out to have a man, some women nowadays, and I'm not going to speak for because I can't speak for everybody because I'm not a woman, okay? But women will know what that is. But when you breathe life into somebody, she just breathed life into that gentleman. She said, we are thriving because of you. I'm able to do this. I want you to know how important you are to what we have here. That is giving this man everything he needs to go forth and go through and do what he needs to. Do you know what that would do for him? Do you know what that would do for them? What that would do is that will help that man know and understand I got a winner in my corner, and no matter what we go through, because everything that I'm doing is going to be received and also reciprocated, if need be, by this person in my corner. That's having a rock in your corner. That's also having someone that's going to be there for you. You can't pay for that. You can't pay for that because those words are actions. She's able to do so much because of the contributions of this person. I want you to know how important it is that you're doing it. I want you to know how thankful I am that you're doing that. She's breathing life into this person with these affirmations. She's doing that. We can't do nothing around here without what you're doing. How powerful is that? A lot of people don't understand the role that they play with people. And a lot of people don't understand that sometimes I can be in a spot, and if I don't have certain key figures around me, whatever God you believe in will send someone, he will send strangers to you, and they will start breathing life into you, and you'll build a bond with them, and then those will become your family. That happens. You build bonds with people because they see things and they have like-minded ideas, right? And when you have that, that blesses you so much and blesses your game. And I don't want to get too religious on that, but I want people to understand that if I can look at someone else and see what they have or see what they're doing and breathe life into that, do you know what that does for them? Do you know what that's going to do for me? That's me being selfless. I don't want to be a selfish person. I want to be a selfless person. Why? Because I can see something in someone and I can see what they're doing. I'll give you a great example. I just had this conversation yesterday with one of my employees, right? We were outside. We were just having a casual conversation. And I looked at one of my other employees' vehicle and I said, you know what? I've been meaning to tell this person that's a bad ride they got. It's nice. I really like it, right? She says, yeah, that is nice. I said, not that the one he had before wasn't nice, but this one here is nice too. She agreed, right? Now, when you can look at the accomplishments of someone, now I don't know what this gentleman did to get or have the upgrade or whatever. That's that gentleman's business. That's not my business. Okay. But the point I'm trying to make is when someone is doing well and someone is thriving, sometimes all it takes is for someone to just breathe a little life into them, right? Like a wife can breathe life into a husband, like a spot, like a partner can breathe life into another partner with the things that they're doing. Like a family member can breathe life into another family member, right? Like siblings can breathe life into each other. But sometimes when we see things that other people have, some of us have our own self-doubt because we don't have the things that they have, or we're envious of the things that they have because we may not be in the right spot to receive those things or to get those things that they have. I'm still gonna tell him. And I talked to the gentleman today, and I completely forgot to tell him that. But you know what? I'm gonna text him that. But because I want to tell him, like, you know what? That is very nice. You know why? Because that is a nice vehicle that a young man has, and whatever you have to do that, that's your business. But I want to breathe life into people. I don't want to be the cause or the reason why someone is either failing or they have failed, right? Because I don't want that to come to me. Because whatever I put out there in the universe is always going to come back to me. Why do people not think that that's important to breathe life into people? That's very hard for me to get. I don't understand why it's hard, especially for us African Americans or Black, whatever you want to consider yourself, to breathe life into others, because a lot of us have a crab in a barrel mentality that plagues us and keeps us down. That if I can build and believe in my brother or my sister because we share the same ideas, we have the same struggles, and if that person can do it, I know I can. I may not be given the same opportunities or be afforded the same chances, but just seeing that somebody else do that will drive me to want to do something greater, do something more. That's important. That's powerful, right? So we want to be on that side. But what happens when we get that stuff on the other side? When we have someone that always wants to give us self doubt and things like that. If you guys remember the movie Lean on Me, and it was the scene where Morgan Freeman that played Joe Clark and the assistant principal, they went to one of the girls' house, one of the students' house, right? It's a girl he remembers since she was in elementary because he was her elementary school principal, right? So the girl just told the mom that she was pregnant, right? The mom started saying things about the girl, started putting the girl down and said she was going to put her out because she felt like she failed as a mother because the girl followed in her footsteps. How many of us have followed in our parents' footsteps and it wasn't something they intended for us, right? Because they know the struggle that they had to go through, right? But life has dictated us to live through that and go through it and have some a sort of similar situation as our parent. And sometimes it's hard for us to voice that to our parent, like the same thing that you warned me from is the same thing I'm doing right now, right? So when they got there and they started talking about it, and the parents said, I didn't want this life for her because it's very hard, right? And as soon as she realized that's where the mom was coming from, it started to click. It started to make sense. It wasn't that you didn't want me to do that because you didn't want me to live my life. You were warning me not to do something because down the road, what I'm going to deal with is something that's similar to what you're going to deal with. And you already had that. Now we have some parents that's out there that's great at giving that example. We also have some people and some parents that are not great at giving that example because they want what they want, how they want it, and that's it. You can't say nothing, you can't do nothing because what they say and what they believe is it. Okay. Not a good way to go. Doesn't work out for people. And it's very hard and very difficult. I'm going to read you a quote by Mike Tyson. Everybody loves Mike Tyson. Now, if you like Mike Tyson, that's great. If you don't like Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson is somebody who's lived a very pivotal life. And right now, at this stage in his life, he has a deep appreciation for the things that he has, but also the things that he's accomplished. Okay. So I'm going to read you this quote by Mike Tyson. Okay. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, or else you will lose yourself. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, or you will lose yourself. Why do you think he would say that? Because Mike Tyson did struggle with some things. He struggled with some mental things. He did. It came out later on in life. And sometimes when people can learn to accept those things and know and understand that, then what happens is they get better, right? Now, speaking back into that Jay-Z situation, a Jay-Z quote about his, I have another one for you. I hate when people try to talk fear into my plans. They just need to move out my way. And when we have that mindset and we gain that confidence, we believe in ourselves, nothing can stop us. But that negative self-doubt that we have from either people that have failed in before us, or people that are around us that don't believe we can do that, we like, there was a time and point there was a point in time where we called them haters, right? But we're in 2025. We need to change that mindset. And what's there to hate on? Everybody has the same type of struggle. It just looks a little different. Okay. I can't say that I'm hate on you for that because anybody can get anything nowadays, right? There's no such thing. We need to move and shift the words that we use, because the words that we use, they hold us prisoner. They hold us captive, either mentally or emotionally, with the things that we do. That's why these affirmations are very important. Affirmations are something that will help us with our love languages. Affirmations are something that are good for us with discipline. Affirmations are good for us in our careers. Affirmations are good for us when we are parents. Affirmations are great for us to help us with our relationship with our siblings. Affirmations are great when it comes with our work family. Affirmations are great all around us. When we know and understand why these affirmations are there and how to utilize those to the best of our ability, you wonder why you are doing what you're doing in the time that you're doing it. It'll start making sense. But if I don't have that idea, and if I'm just going through the motions, as they say, and I'm just living life and not even really putting two and two together about that, it's going to be very hard for me to either understand or know why things are happening to me the way that they're happening to me. If I know and understand why things are happening to me in the manner in which they're happening to me, I can know and understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I know why I have this show. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I know the purpose of it, right? Doesn't matter what anybody says, doesn't matter what anybody believes. I'm going to tell you my belief. If I have only 5 people and I have those 5 people to listen to the messages that are coming out, those 5 people eventually are going to affect 5 people, right? So now that means that they have reached 5 people individually, right? So that from those original 5, they've just spewed out from 5 people. That's 25 people. From those people, that message gets sent off to 5 more people. That's how it grows. That's how things happen. But there's a firm belief in what you're doing. No matter what comes your way, you have to believe in what you're doing is for a reason. You have to believe that some people are coming to you, giving you this negative self talk and this negative doubt, trying to pour all this negative things into you for a reason. Some people can be around you because of what you do or what you have or what they want or what they potentially want, and have this horrible mindset and this horrible way of going through life to make you think and believe they're really there in your corner when all they just want is the trophy of you, or to say they have a piece of you. And that's not going to do you any good, because you may not be inclined to even be around them. You might not even want to do anything with them. They might not be a person that you want to see or be around because their energy is off and they have toxic sayings and they have a toxic mindset. So they're going to breathe that negativity into you. It's important for you to know that. It's important for you to see these people. It's important for you to understand that some people are only around you like that. I keep looking at my hat because I know the brim is a little off. I want to make sure it's not crooked, right? I want to make sure I'm looking right. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's good, right? Representation is always good. You always got to have good representation when you see yourself. See, now look to me, it look a little crooked, but let me get back. Oh, there we go. Back in focus. Okay, so it might be my laptop. There we go. All right, back to that. See, I just firmed something just now, right? I believe in myself. I want to make sure that I'm looking good. I want to make sure that I'm doing good, right? Because a good mind is a good body. Here we go with Dion saying, if you look good, you play good. You play good, they pay good. But what I missed out of that was, if you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. You play good, they pay good. That works. That's a mindset. Those people who have been athletes in their lives, they know about affirmations because they are around people that can either motivate you, they can shape you, or they can destroy you. And most athletes, they've seen that, right? Most people in the military, they've seen that too. Those are two very discipline based programs, right? They're building and they're training you to be something greater than what you saw in yourself. Why? Because they want you to do something that you didn't believe that you can do. They want to change your mindset and alter your thinking to make you believe and know that you are something greater than what you are. Now, some people are very gifted in what they do. Some people are very gifted at being a catalyst for change, right? You have some people that can speak well, some people that are out there, they're doing activism. You have people that are out there doing things and building and bridging lives for people that are very important. Those people you want to make sure you have around you, right? But you have to know, and sometimes you have to keep them at a certain level, because I don't want this relationship to turn toxic, because if it does, what will that do for me? How will that turn out? How will that turn around for me? Will it be something that's going to help me in the long run? How do I rebound from any of this, right? It's important for us to know and understand where we are. It's also important to know and understand where the people that are around us, where they are, because some people can be around us and not be for us, right? So there's always a benefit of having an affirmation work for me, but it can be a greater benefit of knowing that person that's around me, that's giving me these affirmations, of what they are doing for me, right? So here's a benefit of having good affirmations. Affirmations can help you overcome challenges, focus on your personal values, and improve your overall well being. If I think and believe that I'm doing something and I'm in a better spot, what that's going to do for me mentally and emotionally, that's going to take care of my body. If I'm not mentally inclined or I'm not emotionally in tune with myself, my body, my health, everything's gonna start crumbling down. I'm gonna deteriorate, right? It's gonna be like someone who has a terminal illness. It's gonna be seen. And even the words that I say about myself is gonna come out. Even the things that I do is gonna be changed. It's gonna be skewed. Why? Because I'm having a different mindset. My mindset is somewhere not focused on me. My mindset is focused on the negative. But what I need to do is focus on the things and the accomplishments that I can do based on what I've been either afforded to do or what I've made happen for myself. Right? Now, how do you identify them? It's very important, right? What's also important is how do I change those negative statements into positive statements? Go back to that first example I gave you of the little engine that could. Didn't believe that he could, but he changed all those things. You had somebody come by and say, you can't get over that. You can't climb that hill, right? Because you're just a little engine, because all these other steam engines that are around, they're more powerful. I'm going to speak on that for a second. How many times have you been around somebody and you know that they're better than you at something? How many times? I can tell you there's been a lot in my life. How many times do you know that someone is more gifted than you at something? I can speak on that too. There's been a lot of people more gifted than me in something. But there's one thing that you can't test, and that's your will. That's also your heart. You can't test those things. You can't measure those things. Someone having a gifted talent or somebody being gifted mentally or being in an emotional space where they can contribute something that they have been through or they just have it, then you want to learn from that. You want to take something from them and put it in your repertoire so that you can become more skilled or more sharp with what you're doing. But what happens when you don't have anybody around you? What if you grew up in a place where everyone around you, everything around you is just negative, right? That no one has made it. And every time that you say that you want to do something, everyone comes back with a negative connotation that you can't do that. Ain't nobody made it out of this. Nobody decided to do that. You'll never accomplish that. You need to change that eyes. You need to change that mindset. And all that does sometimes is give someone a spark to move forward, to do something, because I'm going to show you what I'm made of. See, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of people's environments and the things that happen in their home have made and shaped us into the people that we are. Some people have overcome great obstacles to be what they have, or excuse me, be what they are, or to have the things that they have. And then now that they know that, they have a deeper appreciation for the things that they've gone through because they had to train their mind to not believe the things that someone else said about them or believe the thoughts that they had. What will that do for you? Think about it yourself. Think about what happened in the most pivotal time when you needed someone or when someone doubted you. How did you get through that? Did you have someone in your corner to tell you that everything was going to be okay? Or did you make up your mind yourself and say, you know what? Bump this. I'm finna get it done. I'm finna make me a plan. I'm finna get it done. I'm gonna stick to that plan. Because sometimes sticking to a plan is the hardest part of having a plan because we can't foresee any roadblocks because we think that things are going to happen in the way that they're supposed to happen. But life doesn't dictate itself that way. Life doesn't go that way. So that's why we have to know and understand and make sure the words that we hear and the words that we even use about ourselves are important. Now, I work in the mental health field. I've worked in the mental health field for over 20 years. There's a lot of times people will say negative things about them because someone has given that or spewed that to them, right? Like crazy, right? The word crazy. I'll tell you right now, the crazy is a social label. There ain't no such thing as a word crazy. Ain't no such thing as a word normal. In my line of work, those things do not do anything positive for the people that I come to help. They do nothing but tear down folks. Why? Because that means that someone is living up to an idea or a label that they're not, right? You're living up to that. Some people like to live up to a label of GOAT, greatest of all time, because we see them in the pinnacle. We have our idea of what that is, and some people believe that. Some people believe that they're better than what they are because someone is given them and instilled in them the idea that they are, right? Sometimes it happens like that. Sometimes those gifted people can be sometimes the worst people because their mindset is because I already have this, I can do this at the drop of a dime. But that person that has gone through that struggle, that knows what it went with, that knows what it means to live through a struggle, live through some hard times, and know that I had to dig myself up out the mud to get to where I am. If you don't know and understand how powerful and important that is, you need to tap in and see some other people that have done it, or even know and understand some people that have made it through some of the things that they've made it through. That's very powerful, very important for us to see, right? I want you to know and understand that they can also these affirmations or these words that people use, they are negative, they can be positive, but also what's important for us to know and understand is that the reason why they're used in its intended use is having the idea or the opportunity about myself to know myself, that everything will work out as long as I believe the thing. Also, to know and understand that if I myself am in a spot and I've gone through these experiences and I know I've done it, nothing's gonna stop me, right? Nothing will stop me. That's a song. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing will stop me now. I don't have the lyrics or the words, correct, but that is a song, right? That will instill life in you. I played you a clip earlier. Those things are breathing life in you. I give you an example. Some people that are not breathing life into you, because those people who do not breathe life into you, they just want what they want from you in the manner in which that they're doing it, right? And some people will go through great lengths to do that. Great lengths to do that, right? And when they do that, what does that do for you? What does that do for you? That does nothing but tear you down because misery loves company, right? Misery loves company. I'm gonna do this because I want you to be just as miserable as me. I want you to be a failure like me. If I can't do it, you can't do it either, right? You ain't gonna do it. I don't care how many opportunities you can be just like me, right? Just like me. Mission College, right? If you know what Mission College is, that is from a Spike Lee movie called School Days, right? Samuel Jackson, very accomplished actor, is in this scene with Lawrence Fishburne. They're eating KFC. They're going back and forth as people who were in that community that didn't do anything, that didn't have the opportunities to go to college or better themselves or have the idea. And I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Just because you don't go to college doesn't mean that you can't have a great life. That's another part of negative self-talk that people have, or the disbelief that people put into other people's minds. Some people go to trade school and they're more accomplished than people go to college. So I'm gonna drop that there. Okay. But getting back to the example, the example is that he is feeling resentment, and he had a powerful role in that scene of saying that y'all think y'all better than us. Y'all come down here with all this stuff, but y'all just like us. And then he said the N word. And then they kept saying it. And the people around him believe that, right? Because it's easy to have somebody around me to believe the negative part about me because they believe that negative part about them. So we're going to band together, we're going to group together, right? But what Lawrence Fishburne, he stuck to the same thing. The main thing that he said was, "You're not N words." That's what he said. That was very important. If you've never seen School Days, go and watch that part. School Days is a very, very good movie. Why? Because it taps into a lot of things that we deal with and we're still dealing with. But that scene, just for this show here today, is something very important. Y'all think y'all better than us. Who said that? They're having a conversation back and forth. It could lead to a verbal confrontation, but it doesn't, because Lawrence Fishburne dropped the mic by saying, "You are not inwards." Because if I think what someone has told me about myself, or has not shown me anything else, or given me the idea that I can be something different than what I am, I'm going to start believing it, right? If someone tells me I'm a horrible person, I'm no good to nobody, I'm going to start believing that. That starts when you're a child. Children believe that, right? I'm a bad kid. I do this, I do that. I'm the man. I'm tough. I'm this. And it's hard for some people to live up to some of these mantras we give them. Why? Because they're not built for that, right? They're not inclined to have that type of life because the life that they have right now doesn't help them or is going to sustain them with continuing with what they're trying to do. So we need to know and understand why these affirmations are important to us. An affirmation will push you through to great lengths to become a great person, right? Some affirmations that are negative will do things that will destroy someone. Have you ever been around someone and heard someone say something so negative or so vile about somebody? And then that person starts to believe that. And it takes somebody who doesn't see that person like that to build them up and pull them up out of that. That's a Tyler Perry movie. There's a lot of those Tyler Perry movies. Think about it. Someone who has been downtrodden, someone who's living a life, something happens to them, and it takes someone to breathe life into them. When they breathe life into them, then they go through that. So I'm going to give you this disclaimer. I particularly am not a Tyler Perry fan because most of his movies are the same. But based on that example, it works, right? And the reason why it works is because it's the same storyline. How do you build yourself out of something? Why? Because it's something that he went through personally. How did I build myself out of this? Who breathed life into me? Who told me that I can do these things? How many people out there have someone in their corner that gives them life? Right? How many people, just like that wife from the example I played, how many people out there have someone that's breathing life into them? And it doesn't have to be your friend. It doesn't have to be people that you know. Sometimes you can have that from someone that just randomly you meet, right? Because your energy attracts theirs, right? And that energy attraction can be a good one or a bad one, but it's going to be your choice to decide. And it's your idea to decide, how am I going to use this to help me? How is this going to better where I am? How is this going to mold, shape, and cultivate what I want to get done? Some of us are in a spot, especially when we have these jobs and we know and understand. I like to use these because I believe personal, relationship, and jobs, they all intertwine with a lot of things that we do. And I don't think people understand why they're important because there are three things in our lives that we hold near and dear to us. Think about it. Something that happens to us personally, we hold on to that, right? Something that happens in our relationship, we hold on to that. And something that happens to us at work or the work life we have, we hold on to that. Why? Because if it makes or breaks us, if it works for us, then we're great. Everything's going, we're beaming. But when it doesn't work well for us, how long does it take for us to rebound from that hurt or that loss or the pain that something happened? How long does it take us to do that? How long does it take us to see through something or live through something that we've gone through? In either one of those three facets of our lives, right? Not to say that you're not a parent, not to say that you take care of something else. Those three parts of your life are very important, and they're going to be very captivating when you know and understand why people are around you, why certain people say certain things to you. I have friends of mine that I have developed that are now become my family, that I speak to them a lot. I will call them brother and sister. Why? Because I mean it. We don't share the same blood, but we share the same ideas and values. And even when they're not doing right, we can talk to each other like that, right? They can tell me that, I wouldn't have done that if I were you. And I as a person, because I respect them and respect what they say, because I know it's coming from a good place, I even have a deeper appreciation for them. And sometimes when we have a deeper appreciation for someone, that will shape the relationship we have with them even further. I need to know and understand that the things that I say and the things that I do is going to shape someone based on how I present it to them and what I mean to them. That's powerful. That's a lot of power for somebody to have in their hand. But we all have that power. We all don't know that we have that, right? Because sometimes we think getting the last word or the last jab in, it means I win. No, that means you're weak. That's what that means. Because I don't need to say everything to get my point across. That's maturity. That's growth. If I'm having a verbal confrontation with someone, or someone wants to start a verbal confrontation with me, and they just want to get that last word, they just want to jabber, 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 and I'm sitting here listening, I'm just gonna hit you with some facts. And then once I'm done hitting you with those facts, I'm gonna let it go. Why? Because I want you to live with what I just said, right? Because you're not gonna negative self-talk me and tell me something different about me or how you feel about me, because right now you're emotionally inclined to speak those words to me, right? Because you want to get that out of you. And if I feel like I'm in a spot where I'm just going to go ahead and go back and forth with you about that, no one wins, right? Verbal confrontation is not about who's win. It's a miscommunication of something, right? That leads into that negative self-doubt. So I'm going to tell you that you're a bad person. I'm going to tell you you're a horrible person. If you don't believe that about yourself, we're going to start arguing, right? Name me anytime you have something on any of these social media platforms where people are filming and videoing. Hold on, I'm going to do it. People are filming and videoing all these incidents that are going on where that didn't happen. Tell me where that didn't happen. It happens all the time. It starts with negative self-talk, right? I'm going to tell you you're something that you're not, right? And because I either think it about myself, or I've been told that about myself, or I believe it, or I feel like I need to defend that, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do something about that. I want to go back and forth with you. I don't need to do that. Why? Because I'm trying to get myself to a different spot. I need to know where my place is where I am. If I know where my place is where I am, man, think about where you can be if you just put these basic principles to play in your personal life, in your relationships, and in your work life. Never let the three blend with each other. Never let them blend over. But know and understand where they are. Use these affirmations for everything. Use them to guide you, right? Use them and know and understand who is giving me these and why they're telling me this. Because sometimes people can tell us stuff and it's not meant for us to understand at that time, but eventually we're going to have to sit down and listen to it. And when we sit down and listen to it, it's going to be important. It's also going to be important when we listen to it for us to go forward and move forward and do something that's greater than we ever thought, or be a greater version of ourselves to live a happy, peaceful life. Some people want to get there and I want to retire. I want to do this. Some of the things that we ask for, we got to be prepared for the downside of it too. Okay. It's like Denzel said, he just told the Colorado football team, if you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud. You got to. If I get praise to my face, I got to deal with the backstabbing. If I get told that I'm the best looking person, I got to deal with the backlash or somebody talking about me. There's always an ebb and a flow to everything. There's always going to be a pro and con to something. Everybody's not going to be all in your favor. I know if I'm liked by too many people, that's a problem. Because if I'm liked by too many people, and we can do this by social media, because a lot of people be liking people's stuff and all this other stuff. But think about it. The reason why people like these things is because it may have captivated them or what they see or what someone has said, and may have helped them, or they might just do it based on the person that posted that. Think about it. That's another level of toxic behavior. That's a level of toxic thinking. Why would I want to waste my time doing that for somebody, to somebody, based on who they are? Oh, let me see the name. Oh, click like. Let me do like. Right? Some people do things for clickbait. They put all this information out there, right? Because they're affirming that these things are true. I affirm that everyone that has ever listened to any one of these shows, that you're going to do something great. You know why? Because you chose to take time out of your day to listen to the words that are coming from me, right? You will do something great, right? Because I know that I have had some struggles in my life. And now, what I'm doing now, I want to pour that into someone else. I want to help someone. I want to help you. I don't have to help you just do something financially. I don't have to help you move or something like that. I can help you with the mindset and to getting you somewhere, or even to open the way you think and to do things a little bit differently. If you can go to someone and you can help them and you can tell them something and it's hard for them to grasp that concept at first, it doesn't mean you stop. That just means that one day you'll understand what I'm trying to tell you. And then when they finally get it, it will hit them like a ton of bricks. Why? Because it finally made sense. I just use that example. I just use that example. When something finally makes sense to me, I know and understand why it was said to me in the manner in which it was said to me, right? I know why it was done. That's a positive outcome, it's a positive benefit for it happening. I might not like what happened to me, right? But I know that this person, I can trust this person because this person didn't have to tell me anything. This person didn't have to do this for me, but this person has come and given me something that is helping me, right? We all need a certain level of help. We can't live life being a solitude person. Eventually, we cling to be around people. Even the most introverted person needs a social interaction of some type. If not, they will sink deeper into where they are emotionally, not just mentally, but emotionally. Now, once you know and you grasp your emotional intelligence and you know where you are mentally and you building that strong mind, that strong body, think about where you will be. Think about who you will impact and think about the lives you will help shape and mold from what you're doing. I'm going to leave you with this last thought, okay? These affirmations that we have are important, right? I've covered that. I've also covered why subconsciously it's good and we have to differentiate between positive and negative thoughts because I'm gonna think something, I'm gonna believe something, I'm gonna say something because somebody's put that in me and now I start to believe it about myself, right? I can't just accept what somebody tells me. I have to know why they're telling me this, right? Because I'm knowing and understanding why these things are. So first, let's get back to it. Affirmations are positive and negative, right? Affirmations of words of encouragement, or they can be words that are negative, which are negative self-talk. That's what an affirmation is. They're both, right? Knowing and understanding who it's coming from and why it's coming from them in the intended manner in which they do it will help us down the road, right? Knowing that and knowing why they're doing it will set you on a playing field that is greater than you ever thought you'll be. And that's nothing that I want more than everybody that's watching or everybody that's going to watch it, the recorded version, for you to become a better version of yourself to where you can live with the mistakes and the memories of the experiences that you've had, but be open to build a community of people and a bond with people that you can corral together and we can start talking about more things and understanding. I affirm that everyone out there is going to have a great day. I affirm that everyone that's listening is going to know and understand why we're doing what we're doing. I affirm that everybody that wants to put forth great effort and good work are going to accomplish things. Why? Because I want to pour into somebody. I know what it feels like when you don't have anybody to pour into you in a personal, in a relationship, or even work. It tears you down. It makes you think differently about yourself. This is what I want to leave with you lastly. Long as you know where you are and who you are and what you're doing, do not stop on your road. Your version and your level of success will be determined by you, but it will be determined by your actions, it'll be determined by your mindset, and will also be clear in the ways that you go about living your life. Your life is going to be your life. I affirm that you're going to have the life that you're going to have based on the things that you're going to do, the things that you're going to base your life around, the things that you're going to build with people. Building with the right people is going to level your playing field and make it a lot easier for you. But also having key figures that are able to tell you that you're wrong and you need to accept that. But I'm building this network of friends that are now my family are important. That's going to be our show for today. Thank you for watching it live. If you're not watching it live, I appreciate you watching it on the recorded version on YouTube later on at blackmail_podcast.com. Join me next week when it's going to be episode 38, and I'm going to tackle something that a lot of people have struggled with and are dealing with, and they don't know how to get over it. Child support. Episode 38, child support, next weekend. My name is AP. Thank you for watching the show. And as always, be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.